Lights, cameras, action. Now let's engage in the dialogue. Let me browse through your mind like a catalog. Conscious metaphysics, allow me to break down the specifics. Educate, motivate. If you don't feel free, you can liberate. An LLC is what I'm building, the #1 podcast in the building. So let me slide on up in the Bentley truck in my Versace shirts. They can't get enough of this deep conversation, expansion, elevation. I'll send you a link you can tap in. It ain't quite what I used to do back then. Now I get it on the front and the back end. Multiple money streams keep coming in. Enlighten, empower, evolve. Enlighten, empower, evolve. Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlighten, Empowered, Evolve. I believe everyone's doing well and everything is unfolding perfectly. I'm excited yet again because I have an amazing guest on the show today. You know, I like talking to people and engaging in positive, high vibrational dialogues with people around the world, and today is no exception. Yes, I have an amazing speaker, author, life coach, practitioner, and much more. Paola Castro today on the show. How are you doing, Paola?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited and honored to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, you're welcome. And I just want to offer my sincerest gratitude once again, because I'm a firm believer that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to choose to spend a moment of time here, a moment of your time here with me, I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's just get right into it, Paola. You're an inspirational speaker, an author, life coach. Let's just start there. How did you become an inspirational speaker? How did that unfold?
Oh my God. I think I found the answer to that question a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay, let's hear about it.
Well, I started doing this back in 2012. I always wanted to know a little bit more about the nature of our beingness and where we come from. I had very big questions at a very young age. At 4 or 5 years old, I was asking big questions.
And let me guess. Sorry to, I don't want to disrupt your flow, but it just triggered something in me because I had questions as well. But this is about you. Were those questions encouraged or discouraged?
Ignored.
Yes, there you go. Yes, no, similar.
Ignored.
It just, let me let you finish. But yeah, it just triggered something within me because I had a lot of questions as well. And it just reminds me. And I love speaking with people, and like, people think it's coincidence, but I think the universe is a perfect orchestrator, and that there's nothing coincidence. Like, we're meant to be talking today. And that just that statement alone that you just made, and you just started to get into your story, that let me know again. Yes, because similar to me, I had a lot of questions. Go ahead.
Right. And yeah, and I remember in school making these questions and the teacher just getting agitated, or the nanny not knowing what to do with those questions, kind of changing the subject. So I was always curious, and it never stopped within me to wanting to know more. And then as I got older, I remember thinking there has to be a better way. There has to be philosophies, ways of thinking that are different to what I've been taught.
Right.
And so back in 2010, I took a journey that I thought it was just for fun, but I took a journey to Brazil. I lived there for a year and a half, maybe it was 2009. And in that journey, I discovered a lot about myself, kind of like that first soul calling happened within me. I was teaching English there, which is interesting because I'm from Costa Rica, but my English was decent enough to be able to teach, beginners over there. And I discovered how passionate I am teaching people something that is going to be beneficial for them. And
Right.
I remember in teaching those classes, I had the opportunity once a week, especially in one school where the principal said to me, teach whatever you want. Just make sure that people are talking, amongst themselves. And I will always pick up a personal development topic. What are your goals? What are your intentions? What are your desires? It was just in me.
Right.
And
That was part
after
of who
that,
you are. That's part of who you are, not was, but it's part of who you are, your intuition, following your own light. And that's amazing that you tapped into that. Go ahead.
yes. So I came back to Costa Rica after a year and a half of being there, and I graduated as a coach, as an executive team building, life coaching. And so in my program, we would learn how to be an executive coach or how to build teams. And then there was this one module about life coaching, and my heart went expansive when we were doing that module, and I
It
decided
resonated with you.
it resonated. That's where I want to go.
Right.
And so after I graduated, I started giving talks in different companies in the city I was living. And it just took from there. Then I found this beautiful retreat center here in Costa Rica too, where they would serve plant medicine.
Oh,
And through the plant medicine, I also learned a lot, and I would teach integration of the plant medicine. So all this year, I just been just allowing spirit to tell me what the next step is. Now, about
wow.
2 weeks ago, I don't know if it was 2 weeks ago
Oh,
or a
that's
month
amazing.
ago, but very recent,
Excuse me.
as
Yes,
I'm
that
on top. Was that?
no, I was just saying that that's amazing, whether it was 2 years ago or 2 weeks ago or 2 days ago. That's amazing that you're connecting with your inner, with the universe inside, the God inside of you, your own intuition, your own spirit, and just allowing the flow to just guide you to your next steps. And when you get to that place, it's just so beautiful, how things just unfold. And amazing. That's just amazing. Just
Yeah.
yes, and I can tell that's where you are right now.
Yeah. Yes. And so all these years I've been following this impulse. Like
Right.
my teacher said, this evolutionary impulse that just comes from my soul. I want it, I follow it, I follow it. About 3 years ago, I started having some weird pains, but
Right.
bearable enough that I kind of just did my thing, did some therapy, chiropractors, acupuncture, all of that thing that you do when something is hurting. Um, but then it got really, really bad last year. At the end of the
Mm,
year, it got really, really bad, where I was like, okay, I'm in chronic pain and I don't understand why. I I eat very healthy. I exercise. I live by the ocean. I mean, I feel very proud of the lifestyle that I've created all these years.
very
Mhm.
balanced and harmonious.
Very balanced and harmonious. I wouldn't say I have a lot of stress in my life.
Right.
So why would I have chronic pain? Like,
Pain.
it doesn't make any sense. And so by January this year, I said, I'm gonna go deeper. I need to know what my health is saying. Um, and being an inquisitive being and curious, I really want to know. I know that my symptoms are speaking in behalf of my,
Right.
subconscious.
Right. Your body is telling you something, like you said. Yes, it's
Yeah.
tapping you on your shoulder saying, "Hey," and but you have to find out what it is. So yeah.
Yes, yes. And I'm very glad that I did it. I found out, there's an autoimmune condition happening. I'm going to call it a condition. I'm calling it right now that I'm healing from it, that I'm
Right.
integrating
Right.
whatever is
Right.
disintegrated in me.
It's just, yeah,
And
it's
when
something
I,
temporary, a temporary condition.
yeah,
Right.
so it is. And, when I get the diagnosis, I'm like, oh God, what is it so deep within me that I'm not recognizing? Let me look, let me keep looking. And
Right.
so one of the things that I found out is that there has been the beginning of my life. I mean, I have beautiful parents, and I was born in a quote unquote normal family, and
Right.
being a sensitive being and having some situations in my childhood. Um, and I would say being a very sensitive being made me store some trauma within me,
Okay.
some deep trauma
So that's where it
that
starts.
that's where it started. And then at a very young age, as I was going through the pain of, falling out of grace, from 0 to 7 years old, you're kind of like just you're feeling the world. And then you start trying to make sense of the world after you turn 7 to 14, you start making, some of the belief system starts getting more solidified in your mind. I've been discovering what that little girl needed, what that little
Right.
girl really needed from the world. And it was this a support. She wanted answers. She wanted a better way.
Right.
So one of the ways to do it is let me become it for other people.
Yes.
Let me
Yes.
be the
That's
messenger
the
of
most
what I
powerful
need.
way. Yes, if I
Right.
might add. Right. Go
Yes,
ahead.
yes. And it's interesting because if you look into other speakers or healers, a lot of the motivation, of course, is a soul calling, but the soul choosing an interesting path at some point in life, usually childhood, that really wants you to get to that space of understanding. And it's ever evolving. We'll never understand, this whole
Absolutely.
cosmic experience and this
Absolutely.
adventure
That's
called
why it's
life.
always going to be evolving and unfolding all the time. No one, I don't believe, that's why I use the term, the phrase, reaching towards your highest self, because I don't believe anyone's ever going to get to their highest self. It's always going to be something else
Yeah.
that you are trying to, that you're in the process of learning or
Yeah.
realizing, being made aware of. And that's the beauty of it, though. You know, it's the
Yeah.
beauty of life, because you're, no matter how much you have acquired, um, physically, monetarily, there's always room to grow, especially within yourself. And you will see, no matter how much that you might have acquired, that there's still going to be something missing and things missing. So
Yeah.
that's where you working here and here, your soul,
Yeah.
your mind, everything. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
And as we are the universe in the
Right,
flesh, or the universe in miniature expressed and incarnated in a body, the
right.
universe itself hasn't stopped unfolding. It keeps unfolding. It keeps moving forward. It's the same with us. We are unfolding from that perfect prototype that is implanted within us, from that perfect seed. So we're
Absolutely.
constantly unfolding. And so I am the more, I've been doing this for what, 11 years? And it feels like I'm just at the beginning, at the
Right.
beginning of, wow.
That's
The
amazing.
last 11 years has been a lot of, let me follow what my spirit is saying. I don't know why people will ask me, why did you start doing this? I'll be like, well, I've always liked it. I was a very curious child. Now, at this point of my, I'm ready. I'm ready to uncover the true
Yes, yes, yes.
the true meaning behind this desire to bring a word of possibility and hope to the world, starting with I wanted this for myself,
Yeah, with
and
yourself.
because I
Yeah.
didn't have it, I became it.
Right, and right. And what better way than to be an advocate for what you want to help others, succeed in doing or acquire. And that's amazing. And I love the way that you, articulated that, just unfolding in the seeds and everything, and that you became that. And what's amazing about that, because I can resonate with you, is that now life is like, it adds a lot of excitement to life, because you want to see what's going to unfold next. You're looking forward to it. And when things are perceived as problems, and the way that you think now is like, let me get to the root of this. Don't just look at it like, oh, I just have this illness and that's it. No, let me find out what's going on here. There's some kind of, um, disruption going on somewhere that has caused this to manifest, and let me get to the solution of that so that I can dissolve whatever it's, the byproduct of whatever my thinking, my feeling, the unresolved pain, turmoil, whatever it might be. But just the point I'm trying to get at is you've cultivated that type of mindset now, that you're going with the flow to whatever's happening. Not saying that you wish anything uncomfortable within yourself or anyone else, but it's not going to stop you from using that same process of unfolding and learning about whatever it is. And like you said, you were very careful um, of what you even call that. It's just, something basically that you're not putting very much energy into to give it more power. It's some temporary hiccup
Yeah.
that you're working through. And that's amazing, because our words and thoughts are very powerful. So a lot of
Yeah.
people, when they claim stuff, oh, I'm sick and I'm just, you got to watch saying that.
Yeah, no,
You got
no.
to watch out, because whatever you tell yourself, your subconscious is listening, the universe is listening. And it gives you what you want, even though you don't intend that, but that's what you're doing.
Right.
Because
And I
yeah,
mhm.
go ahead, I'm listening.
I call this a teacher, a
Right,
messenger. I don't think it's a mistake. I don't think
right,
it's happening to me.
for
We
you,
It's happening for me.
for
Everything,
you.
because we
I
live in
love
a
that.
friendly universe. If
Right,
we believe in this universal law, that this is a benevolent universe, a friendly universe, the
right,
universe is always for itself, never against itself.
right,
So this condition, this
right,
temporary experience is
right.
for me, given to me by the grace, um, of God, or the grace of the
Yes,
universe. And I'm not seeing it like, oh, God or the universe punishes you. No, an illness or a circumstance like this is the like the placeholder. Someone in the call just before said, is the placeholder for you to get to know yourself a little deeper.
right,
And
right.
I knew,
And
and
if I
one more
might
thing.
add, yes, the universe, I want to add to that, because contrary to what I used to believe myself, and what some a lot or some may still believe, is that you're being punished. Like you said, you used that word. No, basically the universe just has a certain set of laws, right? And it's indifferent to you personally. It's not picking on you personally. It's just has these laws. And when we're these temporary uncomfortable circumstances happen when we're out of alignment in some way. And so those laws kick in, and then it might manifest into that. That's why, it was new to me when I first started hearing even, diseases as bad as the C word. I don't even want to say it. That, oh, you get it from this and that. And then I started digging deep and finding out people saying that, oh, we create that within ourselves. Wait a minute, I didn't. Yes, you did, in some way. Some way
Mhm.
you've whatever you've internalized, whatever something's going on, and you created that inside of yourself. So it's not anyone punishing you. It's there's laws, and whether you're aware of them, live
Mhm.
by them or not, they still go on, you know?
There's another law that says there's always an order. Through every chaos, there's always
Right,
an order trying to emerge. So this condition I was diagnosed with, um, it's been in my family,
right.
in the lineage of the women of the family.
Oh wow.
And it's a pattern. It's a pattern that is not who I am. And
Right.
as I've incarnated into this experience of being Paola, I've taken it on, but it's not mine. So I return it to sender, and I get.
Exactly. And you know what? See, you keep saying some powerful things, and I have to just elaborate. And I don't. I'm gonna make this brief this time.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. I've gotten out of that mindset and myself. So I'm just sharing this so that the listeners, whoever's listening, and you tell me if you resonate with this. Um, the narrative of doctors, a lot of times, modern medicine and Western culture, they say you have this certain thing because it runs in your family. And
Mhm.
I no longer accept that anymore. Um,
Mm-mm.
I just said that then there's a similar um, um, mindset or something that's unresolved that's continuing to happen, in that energy that's causing that to happen. But I'm not just saying just because this person has this bad knees, now I'm going to have it. No.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
because even in my family, I've heard that, by my age, a lot of the men have back problems and things like that. So
Mhm.
I give that no energy. I have no back
Good.
problems,
Good.
yeah, but I
Good.
do have some relatives that's, oh yeah, I have back problems, and
Yeah.
it runs. No, I have
Right.
that gift. Give that no power, and it's not
Right.
like I'm giving it. I'm saying I'm fighting against it. I'm just at ease, not giving it power. That's not my truth. No, and whatever it is, if I did have that, it would be okay. Let me figure out what I'm doing or what's going on to cause that. What's a similar thing? Okay, so I want to study what is the similar things that these people are doing, and I'm finding out it's as simple as being overweight and not exercising. Okay, well you're more susceptible to getting back problems when you're carrying around too much, big stomach or whatnot. It's pulling on you. So maybe that's why it's running in the family, because you're not watching your diet, you're not exercising. So I'm making sure that I incorporate healthier eating and exercise in my life. So that's where my focus is, trying to
Yeah.
balance my life completely, feeding my mind with the right things,
Mhm.
as best I can, and my body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So you're touching on a topic that I am not an expert on, but I want to say it in case the people who are listening feel curious about it. There is studies around the topic of epigenetics, that your
right.
genes are not, they don't have to follow a genetic predisposition. Epigenetics, it's above. Epi means above, and genetics the gene, right? So above the gene. So what it means is that it depends on the environment you give your cells and how your cells are going to respond. So
Yes.
if there's, if you have the awareness of like, nope, my family, there's all these things, but I'm not accepting it as my experience, and then
Right.
you stretch, you do your yoga, you do your exercise, you eat correctly, you have beautiful thoughts, you don't have to develop that
Break the
now.
cycle. In some ways, break the cycle,
Exactly, you break the
because
cycle. Mm-hmm.
and not to cut you off, but again, you just sparked something. You can have those same experiences if you keep doing the same things that the past
Right.
generation did. So then
Right.
you fall into those same narratives. Okay, they
Right.
ate like this, they did this, they focused on this, they focused on a lot of problems, they were angry a lot. So then they developed this. So then that same mindset with you, you know, even though I grew up a certain way, being taught a certain way, I started to break away and study different things and say, this
Yeah.
is not comfortable for me to think like this. Why am
Yeah.
I always focused on problems? Why am I always focused on being critical about people?
Yeah.
Oh, because my family did it. Well, does that mean I have to carry that on? That doesn't feel right to me. So I'm one of the cycle breakers. So I don't feel that I'm going to have the same, um, you know, temporary things going on with me that has been. And I'm not
Right.
judging anybody, but I'm just saying I'm making it different for myself to
Good.
the best of my ability, my consciousness right now, trying to make sure that my thoughts are healthy and that I eradicate anything that's unresolved within myself. It's a process, not saying that I'm just snapping my fingers and, oh, I'm totally, it's a process,
Yeah.
especially when you have been programmed a certain way. It takes a while
Mm-hmm.
to,
Yeah.
rewire those neural
Yes.
pathways and think different and feel different, and
Yeah.
you know
And and for me, it's been such a humbling experience because I've been in this business of spiritual and personal development for 11 years. And before that, I mean, always fascinated. Like, I love meditation and prayer and all of that.
Right.
And yet, you know, it's like, oh, there's something so subconscious in me, something so hidden that I wasn't even aware of. And so I can beat myself up and be like, oh my God, I can't believe in you all these years, you know, were you being real? Yes, I was at the best of my capacity at the level of consciousness that I had. And that's why I called this moment of my life, you know, I've been getting a message, a messenger, or a teacher to come teach me that there's a pattern so subconscious that no longer has any power over me. And you know, this is all coming from the question, how did you start doing this, you know, being a motivational speaker and all of that. And that answer, I got it 2 weeks ago, but you know, it's been a beautiful unfoldment, and I know more will be revealed, and I'm excited to talk to people about this. And no, we don't have to be the victim of this. We can get very empowered and cut the pattern and have a different future for ourselves, or create a different future for ourselves and for our children, if you have children.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you. That's well orchestrated. And yes, that's everything. Yeah. Also, you're an author as well. Of how many books?
I just one in Spanish and English. Yeah, the same one.
What's the name of that? What's the name of that book?
It's called Free.
Free. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
The subtitle is about the path to fulfillment begins here. And so, interesting enough, I wrote the book, beautiful book about my journey of having like my first deep awakening. Back in 2012. And I'm getting deeper understanding of me writing that book, you know, 10 years later, 11 years later. It's so interesting. It just keeps revealing itself. And that book came through me as this desire of claiming authenticity and freedom. Because if we review our family systems, we can see that people have been silent, people have been shamed, people have been, you know, they have felt guilty. You know, the organized religion has done a great job with that. Governments have done a great job with that.
Yes, absolutely.
So, you know, seeing that all my life, there was a moment I said, no more. I'm not going to follow the programs that are disempowering. I'm going to be me, right?
I'm perfectly said. Disempowering. You're right.
Yes. Disempowering program. So, Free is a book. It's an invitation for people to find who they truly are, what they want to do, not what their parents want them to do, not what society has told them to do, to get out of that rat race. Someone said it because if you win that rat,
point them back to themselves. Yes. No, I love that.
If we keep in the rat race, even if you win the race, you're still going to be a rat. And we're not here to be rats. We're luminous, beautiful beings that are in this beautiful unfoldment into, you know, more brilliance and more goodness. So yeah, that book, it's a beautiful invitation to freedom, to inner freedom.
Inner freedom. I love that. And where can you find it?
You can find it on Amazon. You just type Free Paola Castro, and then you'll
like
get it.
Free Paola Castro.
It's also in
Go
Spanish.
get that book, everyone. Go get that book.
Yeah.
Yes. Even I believe in certain, you know, like information you might say, oh, I don't need that. But no, even if you feel like you're already there, just to have something to keep affirming, to help strengthen that, you know, just the process of reading something that's intended to help you to help you grow. That in itself is amazing. And I never get to the point where I say, if I see a book and it has a title as, oh, I've already learned that. No, there's people have different perspectives. So you may say something in that book that I haven't heard before that can jog something either immediately or years down the line. I could say, you know what? Where did I get this idea? Oh, I got it from Paola's book. Yes, now it makes sense. Just like you said, um, you're making sense of some of the things that you wrote years later. I've done that same thing with actually reading books where I couldn't quite get the concept at the time, but then I guess my mind wasn't ready. But I applaud myself because I read it anyway. But then
Yeah.
later on, it starts to make sense as my consciousness elevates. Wow, I get it. And that knowledge is in there because I read that book. And then sometimes I'll go back and read it again, and I can look at the book with different perspective, different through different eyes now. Say, yes, now I really understand it. I
Yeah.
did that when I first read the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle years
Mhm.
ago. I really didn't get it. I was like, even the simple concept of everything is now, the memory, I mean, past only exists in your head and future is only, no, it does exist, and so I didn't really get it
Yeah.
until now. It's like elementary when I think about that. All we
Yes.
have is right now,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you can
And in
reference,
10 years, you may review it and then you'll be in a more expanded state of your own awareness and you go,
right,
oh, I'm catching even
even
deeper.
more, even deeper. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
right.
So that's the beauty of consciousness. It just never stops. And that's what makes it exciting. We keep growing and unfolding and evolving, and it just keeps getting better. It just keeps giving.
Just
And
keeps giving. That's
yeah.
amazing, Paula. Amazing. Now, before we conclude this segment, while I have you here, how can people find you?
Thank you. Well, my website is peaceteachings.com. And
Peaceteachings.com.
uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's self-explanatory right there. And I'll make sure that I incorporate that website in the description of this video once it's uploaded. And yes, it will be on all
Thank
the Audible platforms as well as YouTube. So amazing. And before we conclude once again, is there any final thoughts you want to leave us with?
Mm, I would say,
Or anything that you want to share that you didn't share yet?
mhm,
Just take a couple of
yeah,
minutes to.
yeah. I think we're going through a very powerful moment on Earth right now. And if you decided to listen to this episode, or you are listening to this podcast and on all of its episodes, um, keep saying yes. Keep saying yes to your curiosity, even if at times you don't fully understand everything that you're hearing, or it may seem too out there. Keep listening, because our hearts are getting in tune with the resonance of the earth. The earth is evolving itself. The earth as a living being is evolving, it's expanding, and we are rising in our consciousness, in our vibrations. So
Right.
don't give your back. It doesn't matter how the circumstances are. Your consciousness will always triumph your circumstances, will always be above of your circumstances. So especially when times are hard, especially when things are confusing, keep leaning into these beautiful conversations, into your prayers, into your meditations, because you're planting seeds in your own consciousness that will give you fruit at the perfect time. Divine timing, I call it.
Wow, that is amazing. See, you should be a poet. You already are one. That's beautiful the way you put those words together and give you fruit. I love it. I was just visualizing a nice pear. Just,
Yeah.
mm,
That's exactly.
amazing.
Juicy and good.
Thank you. Thank you, Paola, again for being here. And thank you everyone for watching, listening. on whatever platform you're listening or watching this on. Hit that like and that subscribe button, and make sure you check out Paola's website. And that website again is
peaceteachings.com.
peaceteachings.com. And it will be in the description of the video where you can just click on it and go right to it. Thank you, everyone. I'm sending you peace, love, happiness, success, prosperity, health. May it just all circulate in all areas of your life. Thank you very much. Enlightened, empowered, evolved. See you soon.